Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show, our Week 8 reaction show. Paul joined alongside Jack Weinberger, Robert Ziggy Ziegler at the University of Virginia, and Zach Bloomquist, the best executive producer in the game. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe to our channel if you can. We just got to 1,700 subscribers, so we're pretty excited about that and chasing down 2,000 right now. We'll see how long it'll take to get there, but we've been enjoying the season so far.
That's the only thing I've been enjoying so far this season.
Don't worry. This show will take a turn in about 2 minutes. But first, another congratulations to Jack, who has hit 5 straight caps of the week.
Thanks.
It's an unprecedented streak. Actually, not for you, but for most people, it'd be an unprecedented streak.
I don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
Allegedly, you said you have another guarantee for this Saturday.
I have my cap lock of the year on Saturday night.
Lock of the year.
Hopefully, whoever was that guy who said the Beavers are winning the Pac-12 and he's fading me, I hope he listens to the show.
He said, didn't he say, like, no offense, Jack, but I'm going Beavers in this
one? He said, I'm fading this cap, Jack, going Beavers. I'm like, fade at your own risk.
Yeah.
No offense, but you just lost a crap ton of money to the Jack cap of the week.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you're not the first victim.
Not only did the money line, not only did the spread hit, but the money line would have, with Arizona actually winning the game. I feel like you've had a couple now money line hits, right?
I also had I had Arizona on an alternate line of -4. And they were up by 10, and OSU scored with like 30 seconds left. So that was kind of disappointing. But
OSU.
But nonetheless, the real OSU. Yeah. Nonetheless, Arizona gets the dub. Another win.
So this is 5 in a row, and we're on the year 6-3 or 5-3?
6-3. 6-3, 5 in a row.
Should be 8-1.
Should be 8-1.
We always talk about those two that got away earlier in the year. But the cap is on fire. And college basketball, oh my. The hardwood hammers.
I always tell my buddy who works at FanDuel, he's like, dude, your college football odds makers, they don't know what they're doing.
No. The college basketball season, though, if you want to make money, 70% last year?
Yeah, it's about 68%.
Yeah. The hardwood hammer is better than the cap of the week somehow.
Yeah.
Buckle up.
If you can believe that.
We have a somber, but we have a fun show today.
It'll start somber, then it gets
It'll start somber. We're going to talk about the best team in the AFC right now because there are a lot of really good teams record-wise and how they're playing on the field right now. We each are going to present to Zach our best team in the AFC, and we'll see who Zach picks. Well, we know who Zach will pick, but we'll see who Zach thinks gives a good argument for best team in the AFC. Will Levis had...
Who do you think he picks? Who do you think Zach picks?
I don't know. I mean, could you throw yourself on camera real quick? I wonder who he's going to pick based on that appearance.
Sorry, continue. Sorry to cut
you. He looks like a Bills fan.
Yeah, maybe the Bills. Well,
the Bills are his father.
Yeah. Will Levis had a great game, which means Jack and I have to fulfill a bet. You might notice these coffee mugs on the table. We'll get there when we get there. No one's looking forward to what is about to come. Then we're also going to talk 49ers Bengals. Big win for the Bengals. I'm pretty sure I lone wolf that pick, by the way. I'm pretty sure.
No. Somebody else had
that was
really? You were a lone wolf?
I mean, I see things.
That was a lucky pick.
I see things. And we'll start with Kirk Cousins, though. And let me just say, before getting into this really somber part, if you guys ever have the chance, you have to go to an Indian wedding. I went to one this weekend. Oh, my God, what a fun time. My cousin rode in on a horse. They tried to get an elephant, but the hotel said no. But drums and dancing and singing and just an unbelievable time at these weddings.
There's a movie. I forget what it's called, but I think Jennifer Lopez is in it. And there's a scene where there's an Indian wedding. And they have all the outfits and they ride in on the animal.
Oh, it was incredible.
It looks like a blast.
It was so much fun. Congratulations to my cousin Dean and Arthi, his new wife. So,
and hello to Dean's sister Maury.
Oh my God.
Continue.
I thought you were going to talk about one of my other cousins. Here we are.
Hello to Nicole as well.
Jack is too close to my family. Okay, all right. Let's get off of this. How am I supposed to read this nice letter to Kirk Cousins now when you're hitting on my family? All right.
You have a good-looking family.
Okay.
God.
Okay.
Do they watch this podcast?
Thank God they don't.
Yeah, okay.
Thank God they don't.
Maybe we'll cut that.
This will be the one they watch.
So,
yeah.
Kirk Cousins. A really sad day as a Vikings fan this past Sunday. And I just remember 6 years ago, after the magical 2017 season in Minnesota with the Minneapolis Miracle, 13-3, championship game appearance, Case Keenum became a fan favorite. Teddy Bridgewater was also on the team at that time, another fan favorite, probably the best quarterback in terms of like the fan appeal since Dante Culpepper, or Brett Favre in 2009. But that offseason, we go ahead and bring in Kirk Cousins, which was a very controversial move, both from the fan standpoint and within the organization. But we were taking our swing at the Super Bowl when we did that. And I remember talking with people, you guys, during that first year saying, man, I like Kirk, but I don't feel the same connection that I felt with Case Keenum or Teddy. And that year had a lot of ups and downs. But the one thing that started to turn me more towards Kirk is how the media viewed him. It was always, he can't win in prime time. He chokes in big games. His numbers are inflated. But Kirk would always, as he's done his entire career, he says the right thing, puts his head down, goes to work, does it with a smile on his face. It's easy to become a fan of that guy. And for Vikings fans, he really did become our guy. We would say how well he would play. No one would give him the credit he deserved, but we had his back. And in his second year, if you guys remember that game going down into New Orleans, you know how much I hate the Saints. When he went and beat them in the wild card round, a 13-3 Drew Brees-led team, that was one of those moments for me. Like the Vikings don't do that. And that was one of the best games Kirk ever played as a Viking. I just remember that sticking out to me. But
wild
here,
card game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, wild. It was awesome. But over the past 2 years now, it's the best football I think we've seen from Kirk Cousins in his entire career. We talk about last year's 13-4 team, 11-0 in one-score games. We've said it. That team would struggle to win 5 games if anyone else were leading the way. That was not a great football team, but they made fantastic plays time after time again and rallied around Kirk Cousins. You could see that with the chains and everything. That team loved him. And this year at 1-4, your season should be over. But Kirk takes his play to another level. MVP performances. He's playing like a top 5 quarterback, I think, over the past couple weeks. And it was the best Kirk Cousins I'd ever seen, regardless of time in Washington, Minnesota. And since the documentary came out, I think that's the first time you started to see a glimpse of people saying, oh, okay, yeah, maybe Kirk Cousins is actually really good. Like maybe there's a side to him that we haven't given credit to. And it just sucks for a guy that takes so many hits. You saw it in the documentary. Time after time, he would get pounded and always come back in. Never missed a game due to injury. To see it happen non-contact Achilles was really just sickening. I feel bad for Kirk. I feel bad for his family, the Vikings players, Vikings fans. But I'll end it with this here. When we were growing up, you had Big Ben as like your franchise quarterback. Our Giants fans, who we grew up in Jersey, had Eli Manning. Some Pats fans we knew had Tom Brady. Vikings fans didn't really have that. Teddy Bridgewater, it looked like was getting close, but then that fell apart too. So Kirk Cousins really became, at least for me, the quarterback of my youth or the end of my youth. And, I think Kirk made it. I was proud to be a Vikings fan with Kirk Cousins leading the way. The way he carried himself on and off the field was really incredible. And I hope it's not the last time we saw him in purple this past weekend, but I'll be a fan of his wherever he goes, on or off the field. So I just want to say thank you, Kirk, because you've meant a lot to Vikings fans, and hope to see you back soon.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a shame because, as you touched on, he was playing not only the best football of this somewhat young season, but the best of his career. Minnesota was starting to look like a team I was like, okay, this team can make some noise in the NFC playoffs. He followed up the best game of the season against San Francisco with arguably, as a team, a better game now in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Gets the team to 4-4, almost 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns before going down. And it was terrible to see. It really was. It was an awful thing to see. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
Ziggy, real quick, I just wanted to add on to Jack's statement there. We talked about at the start of the season how the Vikings very well could end up being a better team this year with a worse record than last season. And a lot of people found that confusing. But last year's team, 13-4, there were a lot of lucky plays. There's a lot of luck that went into it. It was skill, of course, great last-second wins. But there's a certain degree of luck involved in that. This year, the past 2 weeks are the best the Vikings have played over the past 2 seasons. And that's what makes it so disappointing, is that for the first time now in 2 years, it was like, wait a second. The defense is sort of figuring it out. Addison's getting involved. Justin Jefferson going down has opened the door, actually, for Addison to become a playmaker in this offense. and it felt like everything was clicking. This was the most confident I was in the Vikings. I said on Sunday, I freaking said 2 hours before it all fell apart when we were mauling Green Bay. I looked at my dad and said, like, it could be on. The Super Bowl could be on.
And look at your upcoming schedule.
Oh, I know.
It's the Falcons, the Saints,
San Francisco
the Broncos,
lost.
the Bears, the Raiders.
In their past 3 games, only one team has given up fewer points than the Vikings, and that's the Giants. Things were finally starting to click, and this is about Justin Jefferson. The offensive line was finally fixed. Kirk Cousins hadn't been on an injury report in literally a decade. Week 1 of 2013 was the last time Kirk Cousins was on an injury report. I don't mean missing games or playing hurt. I mean on a report. So I don't know. Kirk Cousins was finally shaking off the mediocre labels, the average labels, the can't play in primetime labels from everyone except I think literally our executive producer. But here's what you're going to see. You are going to see how much this Vikings team
let me just put
relied
it
on
out there
Kirk
one more
Cousins.
time. Mr. Average.
Yeah, all
He's
right,
gone
shut
down.
up.
Yeah, okay.
Now it's personal.
Well,
All right,
see,
go-
that's
If
why
you think
Zach's not
Kirk
here.
Cousins
That's
was
why Zach's
Mr.
not here.
Average, watch what happens to this team with Kirk Cousins gone and Jaron Hall or Carson Wentz or Case Keenum, or, you'll find out tomorrow, whoever's replacing him. You are going to find out what an average quarterback does on this team.
Do you guys think so? Right now, I know Jameis Winston rumors are flying around. What's the best option for the Vikings to go with? Because I don't want to try and make a move for Tannehill. I don't want to bring in a Nick Foles or a Matt Ryan, whoever it may be. It feels to me like you can swing for the fences and try and go after a guy like Kyler, but I don't think I want to give up draft capital given the state of this team. What I would do if I were the Vikings, if you can get Winston or someone like that in a cheap trade, okay, go for it. But overall, I'd probably throw out Jaron Hall and see what he could do for the season. Hope Kirk Cousins can recover for next year, and you draft a quarterback in the first round of the draft or second round, whoever you like this year, and then give that guy another year behind Kirk. It's a little out there because you're hoping a 35-year-old, soon to be 36, by the time we get to next season, Kirk Cousins is healthy enough. But with the way people have been recovering from injuries lately, I feel pretty good about it. The way Kirk Cousins handles himself. We all saw in the documentary just how good a physical condition he is in. So I that's the way I would lean, is roll with Hall, see what happens. But I'd rather take a risk on him than bring in someone like, Tannehill or Foles or Wentz, who we know is probably will not get the job done.
For me, there's 2 options. I would probably stick with Jaron Hall. Drafted him for a reason. It's a difficult situation because you're sitting there at 4-4. You're not in an all-out rebuild, but you don't necessarily want to trade players away either. But like I said before, your upcoming schedule, it's easy. It's the Falcons, the Saints, the Broncos, the Bears, the Raiders. Jaron Hall, coming out of BYU, all the pre-draft stuff,
You like
the combine,
a lot.
I like him. So do others. His pros are his above average arm, good ball placement, pocket patience. Justin Jefferson is coming back soon, and I believe that there's no harm right now in giving Jaron Hall a shot and seeing what he can do. I think he can captain this offense well enough in the near future against the schedule with JJ, with Addison, and with Hawkinson. I lean to sticking with Jaron Hall. Then the other thing I would consider is you have a lot of 5th and 6th round future picks. Maybe you can go get a guy for cheap. Maybe a guy like Case Keenum, who's been with Kevin O'Connell, who's taken Minnesota to the NFC Championship game before. That's what I would do. I'd stick with Jaron Hall or go get Case Keenum from Houston.
What would you do, Ziggy?
I'm not trading for a guy unless I think he's either going to win us the Super Bowl or is the quarterback of the
me too.
future. So I think that rules out every trade option except Kyler Murray, who at least, I'm not saying he wins the Super Bowl, but he might be the quarterback of the future. That's not going to happen. So that leaves only one option left. Kevin O'Connell calls up his old teammate, a player who he practiced with, a player who he knows intimately,
Cole McCoy.
Tom Brady. They were teammates on the Patriots. He can come in with the Vikings have an offensive line. Imagine how many yards Justin Jefferson puts up with Tom Brady.
I mean, I think.
Yeah, that's the clickbait title for the segment. It's not happening. I think as a Vikings fan, I just sort of have to accept, as much as it's painful, that the season's kind of over.
Yes.
Right when we were building momentum. This is the Minnesota thing, right? We don't suck. We give you hope and then take it away.
Oh,
right as the hope was starting
Sunday,
to
going into Sunday, I said to my dad and my brother, this is the perfect example of a Viking game where after a huge win against San Francisco, where they looked unbelievable on Monday Night Football, they would go and lay a goose egg against the Packers.
But you mauled them.
And yeah. What the Vikings found a way to do was to find the real worst case scenario, which was maul Green Bay and have Kirk tear his motherfucking Achilles.
Yeah, that was the worst.
The drop from If you had told me when Jordan Addison scored to go up 24-3 that it was going to be my worst day ever as a Vikings fan, I wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah,
and sure enough,
non-contact, I guess these things happen. It was just Kirk Cousins' superpower was his availability his whole career, and
but
stinks.
If Vikings fans, as they should, as you just mentioned, should probably chalk this season up with any expectations at all.
Oh no! Now it's you can't have expectations.
Yeah. So
anymore.
what is the harm in rolling with Jaren Hall and seeing what he's got?
No, that's the thought.
The worst thing in the world is, okay, he gets some NFL experience.
Yeah, no. The worst case scenario is, it's not even the worst case. If he just stinks and they get rolled, which I don't think will happen anymore, because Brian Flores just turned the defense around. They're playing really good football right now. Literally the entire team is playing awesome. It was just Kirk Cousins was making so many plays for them. I mean, he was perfect the past, really most of this year. He's been almost perfect. That you're asking for a lot from Jaren Hall to step in as a rookie now, but there is a chance still that they could get to a wild card.
I totally agree.
And I just don't think it's worth, I mean, if you could get a guy really cheap, like you were saying, for Keenum or someone, if you really don't believe in Hall, that's okay. You can go and make an attempt. I still don't think that Keenum's good enough to elevate them to a Super Bowl team. So I'd rather roll the dice and see, maybe you hit with this pick. And we'll see what happens. But a really tough blow to the Viking season right when it felt like I was finally enjoying football again. You as well, Ziggy. And it's like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. But it's been an encouraging 2 weeks for the Vikings in general, just playing better football. Real quick, I just wanted to mention the Packers here. They looked bad on Sunday. No ifs, ands, or buts. They got mauled.
Yeah.
The Vikings were head and shoulders above them. And Jordan Love, 24 for 41, 229 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. But another week of more negatives than positives. And they had an opportunity. Kirk went down with 8 minutes left in the game. They drove down into the red zone, and they could not score. The Vikings defense held them time and time again. You would think that was an opportunity to go for a team that's been so good in the second half and seize control of that game. But once again, 4 red zone trips, they only scored on one of them. I walked away saying, wow, if I were a Packers fan, I'm really discouraged from that.
And I, on the last episode with the Chill Pill segment, was doing all I can to defend Jordan Love. And yet here it comes and gives me more reason not to. And it was especially that last 6 minutes when they still had a shot. They got to the red zone and couldn't score. Then they turned Minnesota over. Okay, another shot, and they couldn't score again. And it's just like the throws he made, it was to the wrong person.
3 points in the first half. Again. They can't score.
He just doesn't. The decision making right now is just so bad. The accuracy is not good. He doesn't seem to know what he's doing.
Ziggy, what was your takeaway from the Packers' point of view?
Bye-bye, Jordan Love.
No, come
See
on.
you never.
Like I know we're being
no. Look, if you thought Jordan Love was the Packers, I'm being serious here. If you thought he was the quarterback of the future, obviously he's finishing out the year. I'm not saying they're benching him. But the Packers this offseason will be scouting every single quarterback in the draft. It is extremely likely they will have a record where they're picking top 10 and can take one. And Jordan Love's time in Green Bay will come to an end in the middle of next season.
See, I know we've been kind of bouncing back and forth on Jordan Love. Like, get rid of, they should get rid of him.
Done.
All right, so Ziggy's had enough. I'm not moving off of what I said last week where you have to keep giving. He has the season. We know he has the full season to show that he can be the quarterback of the future, to earn the trust of them not to have to go out and get someone next year. But as it stands right now, the Packers would be picking 6 overall in the draft, and we're seeing the same mistakes. So I woke up to a video on Twitter of Dan Orlovsky talking about Jordan Love like being off balance when he throws, bouncing in the pocket, not being ready to throw when his receiver's coming out of his route or when his receiver is breaking open on a go route. Like he's a little too delayed. And I think that's still coaching. Like LaFleur has to coach him up. And maybe at some point it's a Jordan Love problem. And we're not inside the Packers facilities. We don't know. But yeah, it is starting to get to the point in the season where you're saying soon you need to flip the switch, because now it's been multiple weeks in a row of disappointing performances. And we still do acknowledge that Christian Watson has not stepped up the way we expect him to. He's been a little banged up. Romeo Doubs has just been okay. There's no Devontae Adams there in Green. There is no Devontae Adams in Green Bay. A little Avatar reference right there. But overall, the Packers offense has been really disappointing. There's no one who it feels like can hurt you.
Yeah, I don't believe that the receiver talent is
not helping
good at all. Yeah, it really is a tough situation. As I said last week, it's not easy for him because this Green Bay Packers team as a whole stinks. But going back to Jordan Love, like I just said, he seems incapable right now, for the most part, of making a proper read or not throwing into coverage. It's like, what is he doing? It's very questionable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we said it last week. The clock is on for everyone in the NFL, but when you're the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, you have to start to perform, and he's got the season. In my eyes, he has the full season. Go ahead, turn it around. But another week now where it's all right. This Vikings Ziggy's waving.
Ziggy's saying goodbye.
And you know what? I just want to also make it clear, like, to Packers fans, yeah, we whooped their ass. Like, that's exactly what we said would happen. And I feel great about it.
But at what cost?
I feel great about it. But I know. Yeah, I know. So you guys actually probably win the war here. Oh, that sucked. Bengals 49ers. Look, the takeaway from this game is plain and simple for me. People are getting all over Brock Purdy, but
this was so miserable to watch for me.
Joe Burrow is back. That's the takeaway right here. 28 for 32, 283 yards, 4 touchdowns, completed 19 straight passes at one point. And when Joe Burrow is back, that makes the Bengals a top 3 contender in the AFC, no matter what. This team, what I noticed was Joe Burrow looked very comfortable again in the pocket, comfortable running. You saw him make a few big plays with his legs, finish the day 6 carries for 43 yards. First drive of the game, he avoids the Nick Bosa sack, rolls out right. I know you guys know the play I'm talking about. Yeah. And he finds, I believe it was T. Higgins for a first down. Even Jamar Chase. Yeah, they scored on that drive. Later. Even Jamar Chase said, I was like, damn, that's a tough mother effer. So when Joe Burrow, that swagger's back, you see him banging his head on or his helmet. It's a dangerous time to be a fan of an AFC team.
This was just so brutal watching my Steelers get rolled over by Jacksonville at home, losing Pickett, and then watching Cincy go on the road and beat a team who beat us by 30 in our home stadium.
Yep.
And Burrow,
fairly easily, too.
Yeah, they dominated them. Burrow was amazing. The offensive line was amazing against one of the better D-lines in the league, who has been struggling, I'll admit that. But the Bengals line was fantastic. Opened up holes for Mixon to run. They kept Burrow upright. I believe just 3 sacks the entire game. And it was tough for me to watch.
Hasn't Jamar Chase looked unbelievable the past few weeks?
Yeah. And the Bengals defense, too. The Bengals D was awesome.
Mike Hilton had his stats. I don't have them off the top of my head, but he was just, go look at the game Mike Hilton had. Like, the Bengals have come back. Since we said they were dead at 1-3, I mean, they have looked really good.
Deep down inside, I kind of knew this entire time because last year they were 0-2. There's just so much talent. Joe Burrow is amazing. And now when their defense is forcing 3 turnovers in the last 15 minutes of the game as well, that's a wrap. You had no chance to beat them then.
Last week, we talked about complete performances and how it felt like teams in the AFC, despite there being a lot of talent, you hadn't seen a whole lot of those games. Joe Burrow certainly going to Levi Stadium and lighting up the 49ers. He had 4 incompletions. The defense had 3 turnovers. I get that some of the shine's wearing off on Brock Purdy, but it's not as though he's been a turnover machine up to this point. Like, that's still a good offense. I'm scared of this Cincinnati team. They might be the best team in the AFC after this.
This is 3 in a row now. Yeah. Won 3 games in a row.
Well, nothing said that Joe Burrow was back more to me than when the lead was cut to 24-17 with about 8 minutes left in the game and on the road against what a lot of people say is one of the best defenses in football. They go on a 10-play, 78-yard drive, eating up a little over 5 minutes and punching in with Mixon at the end. That's what the Bengals do, and we're seeing that again. So yeah, I think that you guys are totally screwed.
No, what? Well, hold on. You said this is a week-to-week reaction.
It is. The NFL is a week-to-week reaction sport.
But you know what? When I was like, oh crap, was when he took a shot from Fred Warner and leaps right back up and looks all pumped up.
Yeah, you didn't see that.
Chase is like, that's my QB. Let's go.
You didn't see that at the beginning of the season.
No, you didn't. They was kind of dead and flat, but I'm like, shoot, this is the Bengals now.
Yeah.
They're the three games in a row, winning record.
Isn't it crazy how it's just you flip a switch in this league? And look, if Jaren Hall comes out and throws for 400 yards next weekend, it's like, he's your quarterback.
Oh,
it's on.
Super Bowl's on.
Yeah. Did you have something to say there, Ziggy?
I was going to say, since we're enjoying the Bengals offense here, you know how many missed tackles they forced against the 49ers this week?
No, I didn't see that.
13. And it's not as though this 49ers defense can't tackle, right? I mean, this is one of the surer tackling defenses in the NFL. So, yeah, Bengals are back. On the other hand, the 49ers, I think it's time to start getting a little bit concerned about when this slide is going to stop.
That's a great transition from one of the best in the business. What made them unbeatable, San Francisco? They had a great defense that could shut you down, and they didn't turn the football over. Brock Purdy basically made no mistakes. And now over the past few weeks, the defense allowed to Cousins and Burrow, in particular to Cousins and Burrow, 67 for 77, 661 yards, 8.6 yards per attempt. The pass rush has been bad. The secondary's been bad. Steve Wilkes is now having 49ers fans down his throat. Despite, like, Brock Purdy, I actually thought Purdy throughout the day looked okay. Like, I didn't think he was horrible in this game like some people did. He was making plays on the run. It was really that final quarter where he turned the ball over 3 times, and you're saying, well, quarter and I guess a minute of the third. But I thought
like the Vikings game, right?
Yeah.
You know, he plays really well for the first 3 quarters. He puts you in a position to win. And then, unfortunately, when it matters most and the defense is the most prepared, he couldn't quite get it done.
Yeah.
Makes one of those, like, these aren't plays where he's throwing some incompletions that the receivers are dropping. These are back-breaking mistakes.
Oh, they're crushing.
I mean, Brock Purdy did throw for almost 400 yards. I didn't think he looked as bad as a lot of people are saying as well. But he, last 3 games, has looked more like he's a young 23-year-old kid who was picked last in the draft.
Yeah, yes.
And with the turnovers in particular. 2 turnovers against Minnesota, or 2 picks against you guys, 2 picks against the Bengals.
And the fumble.
And the fumble. But to me, I felt that at some point that was going to happen. Like, there was gonna come a point where he's had a stretch where he doesn't look like an absolute robot, like an absolute machine. And their schedule is kind of tough. Like,
it is.
They
tough.
go to Jacksonville, they go to Philly, they play Baltimore, they go to Seattle still. And the cause for concern is that. Because now Brock Purdy has shown, okay, I'm a human.
He's like Drago. It's like he bleeds.
Like,
right?
I'm a human. I bleed. I'm still young. Our schedule's kind of tough, but this team is too good not to figure themselves back out and to bounce back. So I'd limit the panic a little bit on San Francisco.
I completely agree. And I think we can take a little bit of experience from the Bengals situation, where at 1-3, we were going, yeah, this team's in a lot of trouble. They're in hot water, and they turn it around. The 49ers right now, I'm not panicking because the entire roster, like you said, is loaded with superstars. And Brock Purdy, he hasn't been great. Or I'm sorry, yeah, he hasn't been great, but I don't think he's sucked the past few weeks. He hasn't been good, but he hasn't sucked. And I do think that he'll be fine. I would really be okay as a 49er fan right now. If they lose the next 2, yeah, then maybe if they lose another one next week, yeah, maybe I'll start to change my tone. But I'm fine right now.
I'll say this, right? Brock Purdy is not Joe Burrow. And he doesn't have to be, but if the 49ers want to stop things from sliding, it's going to be on people other than Brock Purdy. It's going to be on the defense. It's going to be on Debo coming back. It's going to be on some of the offensive skill position players doing a little bit more. That's what they're going to need to break this trend.
The defense, what's more concerning to you right now, the defense or Brock Purdy's play over the past 3 weeks?
For me, it's the defense. Brock Purdy is just going to make mistakes. That's inevitable. His initial pace wasn't something you could rely on, but he still played okay for almost every drive he's been in. It's just a couple mistakes. Meanwhile, the defense, I mean, I get that Joe Burrow's good, but they're coming in scoring 16 points a game, and you give up, 34? They're coming in scoring 250 yards. Now they get 400. You just have to do better as a defense. And with Wilkes and the players not looking aggressive, playing out of position on the back foot every play, it's going to be tough.
God, I'm going to cry thinking about how good Kirk looked against them.
I mean, a stretch where Brock Purdy wasn't a well-oiled machine was coming. But what does he make? $800K a year, and he lives with a roommate still in an apartment. He's allowed to look vulnerable. It was going to happen. But this San Francisco Niners front is paid like they should get a sack on every single play.
Yeah, and they've been
been horrendous. So that is my main concern. But again, way too good up there where it's not going to come back around.
All right, so we're all holding off on the panic button right now. I made an impulse Kirk Cousins t-shirt purchase today. I logged on this morning. I'm like, God, I'm writing I'm searching up things and writing down notes for our show, and I'm like, God, I love this guy.
Kirk's awesome.
And I was thinking, I'm like, I need a jersey. I don't really want a jersey, so let me look for a shirt. And I got this shirt of Kirk. It's from how do you pronounce homage or homage? Homage, right?
It's a homage. I think it's homage. I think you say the H.
Do you say the H, Ziggy?
You say the H.
It's homage.
Oh, homage.
Yeah.
So I question.
You went to Notre Dame.
I question it. I'm just saying. I'm not sure. But anyway,
it depends on whether you're British or not, right? But I usually use British pronunciations. So
okay, so what's the American pronunciation?
Homage.
Homage. All right, homage. I'm not. Oh. We're not in England, guys. We're in America.
I think England is homage, homage.
Well, that's. I think I might. I don't know.
Is that Australian?
Homage. The website's homage. We're disregarding the name of the brand.
Is there such thing as a silent H?
Homage.
I don't think that exists. I think it's homage. I don't think H is delusional.
All right, we'll have to. Ziggy, you have Google
Translate. Put it in the comments.
Yeah. Did you say?
Of course, you can have a silent H.
No, I mean, yeah, you can.
I thought only certain.
Think about Philadelphia.
No, but I mean, being the first letter of the alphabet. I don't think the H can be silent being the first letter of the alphabet. I think only 4 letters are.
Do you say hair? No, you say air.
Oh, heir to the throne.
Oh, I was talking H-A.
I just watched the Jordan movie on the plane. Really good, by the way. I was like, what the hell is he talking about?
Pterodactyl?
He probably says honor.
Pterodactyl starts with a P.
That's an H. No, wait, it's an H.
No, honor starts with H.
No. I know. I was just going off of
Oh, yeah.
I thought P can be silent.
Okay. Let me just finish this. I bought a shirt with Kirk Cousins running on the field. It's a cartoon, and he's got the chains on. It says skull. It's just amazing. It says Kirko on the side, like Kirko chains. And God, I'm gonna miss that guy. Definitely.
Hopefully next
too
year
expensive
he's back.
of a shirt, but
hopefully next year he's back.
I'll wear it next episode.
Jack, do you say Howard?
No. Oh. Yeah, miles per hour.
Okay.
We have well, Jack and I have a very unfortunate task that we have to accomplish right now, because last week we said, when we found out Will Levis was playing, we did not believe he would win the game. I can't remember how critical we were of him. We weren't big fans of Levis coming into the draft, but we just also expected, first game, a lot of rookies don't win those first games. They look bad. The Falcons haven't been a great team this year, but they've been beating teams that they should beat. And the Titans probably fell into that category with a first game starter in Will Levis. So we said, okay, you know what? If Will Levis wins this game, we will drink coffee with mayonnaise in it.
No one in the comments held us to it, though.
No one did, but we said it. It was Ziggy and Zach held us to it,
yeah.
which is rightfully so. So we have to, after going 19 for 29, 238 yards and 4 touchdowns, and looking really, really good, we do owe it to Will Levis to try out this Hellman's Light Mayo.
Well, look, you like coffee,
right?
Black
coffee. I do.
Coffee's good. Mayo's good. It can't be that bad when you mix them.
I don't. I like mayo, but in coffee. All right, so here we go.
This is also the best. Hellman's is the best brand.
It is the best.
It's the best brand.
Either. It is, and we didn't have the squeeze mayo, so we had to go spoon. What's also unfortunate about this is we poured the coffee before the show, so now the coffee's also
you
cold.
Can see it.
How much do you think I have to put in
here?
How much?
Put a glob.
That's a little too much.
Put a spoon. Put a glob.
That's a lot.
Well, Will Levis won, man.
That's a lot of mayo.
Will Levis won. That was spoonful's good.
What do you think?
Spoonful's good.
Oh my God.
I think that eating mayonnaise is immoral.
All right, I'm gonna put this is going in.
Oh, I forgot, yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, this is gross.
Hey, maybe this video gets another Titans comment.
Oh god, let me stir that up. Oh, dude, it doesn't even it's just like
It's not dissolving.
not as
Probably
much
'cause
as it
it's cold.
should be. All right, whatever. I'm stirring it up, and I have a light coffee now.
So we're taking what? We're taking a sip, or are we downing this?
I'm taking a sip.
Taking
I'm
a
not
sip.
Downing this.
You're downing it.
Not in one. Oh.
Oh man.
Yeah, stir that up. Stir that up for yourself. So, in podcast form,
I'm just watching this. I might puke.
in podcast form, I have an upset stomach today too, partially from the Indian wedding that I mentioned at the top of the broadcast.
I'm also going on hour 60 of a hangover as well.
Yeah, no, I know.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, it's like
so,
no,
it's like mixed in, but there's
You
still
should've just
globs.
waited to pour it. What was the difference?
I didn't want to spill.
Spill
Okay.
What?
So there, yeah, just keep your spoon in there.
Jack
Just
spit
keep
on-
your spoon there.
Jack spit on
All
the
right.
line before.
Here we go. So,
I'm not sure I can watch.
fuck.
cheers
All
I'm in
right,
for it.
here we go.
to Will.
Probably doesn't even taste like anything. I can't taste it.
I think Paul likes it.
That's really good. That's really
Holy
good.
shit.
Maybe this is the Will Levis. What's that?
I might just add a little more.
Is this the secret stuff for Will?
Hold on, let me take
This
another
could be the
sip.
secret stuff.
Hold on, let me take another sip.
Take a real sip, Paul.
There's-
You were baby.
There's a glob sitting here. Got that spoon for a second.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna try this one more time.
That's amazing.
I don't want to do this. All right,
Where was this all my life? Ziggy, where was this all my life?
all right, hold on. I'm gonna give an accurate review here. Take a real sip.
I think it's really good.
It's fine. It tastes like coffee with a little.
A little kick. There's a little kick. It's like, you know what it is?
I don't want a glob going down my.
You slurp into the mic. I don't know if they believe you. They didn't hear a sound.
Well, I can attest. I can attest. He sipped.
Okay, I got some of the mayo on that one.
No, but
It's okay. I
you know
will
what it
never do
tastes
this
like?
again in my life.
You know what it
but it's
tastes
not
like?
horrible.
it's like coffee with a kick of a turkey sandwich with mayo.
No, it's
very
an
good.
insane thing to put in coffee.
Hey, Will
Just put
Levis,
turkey sandwich with mayo minus the turkey sandwich.
well, yeah, a turkey sandwich with mayo only tastes like mayo because the mayo is very strong. So this is kind of just like coffee with that little turkey sandwich kick.
No, okay, I got the mayo on that one. No,
Bad.
it's unsettling.
I mean, to be fair to you, I think I might have only had the coffee.
No, you get it with get a sip with the mayo. Make sure you get the mayo. It's not like repulsive, but it's
Repulsive.
unsettling.
That's repulsive.
That's a lunatic
That's
thing to
bad.
do. No offense, Will. That is absurd.
Can I make another?
Amendment.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah, you good?
Yeah. If Will Levis beats the Steelers in Pittsburgh, I'll eat a whole jar on air.
Okay. It's a lot of faith in Mitch Trubisky.
Just one.
Especially
I'm
after the
not
performance we
that.
saw from Will Levis, right? Like this isn't a situation where Will Levis just sort of sat back, threw for 30 yards and let the defense and Derrick Henry bail him out. He was instrumental in every one of those touchdowns that they scored.
Yeah, I mean, look what Will Levis, the main concern for him coming out of Kentucky was not his arm strength. Like, we knew his arm strength was amazing, but all the other factors, like the ability to make the right play, ball placement, decision making, and at least for one game, he answered all those questions about whether he can do that at an elite level. It was a good mix of shots downfield plus more precise balls, short, intermediate, accurate, put a lot of balls in places only his receivers could make plays. He can take this Titans offense, at least from what it seems like,
From
for
one
one
game.
game, to a level that Tannehill cannot.
I mean, when was the last time a Titans quarterback had 4 passing touchdowns
And
in a
no
game?
picks.
Must be ages.
And I think he can rejuvenate D-Hop's career.
I mean, I think the DeAndre Hopkins point is good, right? Because I think you saw the benefit of having one of those experienced alpha receivers in the room. Because DeAndre Hopkins, on the 3 touchdown passes he got, insane number, by the way. But on all 3 of them, he did things that made Will Levis's life easier.
Yep.
And I think that confidence really made a difference because on that clutch fourth quarter, 2nd and 11, over the shoulder touchdown pass, that went to Westbrook Akine. But that's the kind of
that was the pass of the
it was
day.
an on the money over the shoulder pass straight into the end zone with a cornerback pretty close. If he had not been making those throws to DeAndre Hopkins, he might not have had the confidence to go for that.
The Titans offense, you said it, when's the last time we watched that offense and said, oh, they have a downfield passing attack?
Like I saw Will Levis throw a 60-yard bomb touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins. Like, when's the last time we saw that?
No, the Titans don't do that.
Like,
you had a couple AJ Brown big plays like that, but it's been a long time since we've seen the Titans go down the field that much, and that was fun to see Levis do, was just the aggressiveness that he had and really not putting the ball in too much danger. There were a couple throws, but nothing crazy. We have to see him do it again, though. Before I'm ready to say some Titans fans and outlets are really excited and saying, okay, maybe the season's turned around, and that is a fair question. Like, the AFC 7 seed should probably be up for grabs to some degree. We'll see.
It'll
still be tough to get.
Quick. How many throws did Levis have?
He's like, what, like
30? 19 for 29.
19 for 29. Wow, that's crazy. Because I feel like they don't let Tannehill throw like more than 15 times a game. It always feels like.
Yeah, they let him rip it.
You saw something completely different from Will Levis. And I'll say this much. If I'm the Tennessee Titans, Ryan Tannehill is not starting another game for me. Not because I think Will Levis is going to throw for 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions every single game. But you just don't. Ryan Tannehill does not have this kind of upside. You've seen that your young quarterback against the Falcons defense they were 4th in points per game this season.
They were solid. Their defense was solid.
Statistically very good this year.
Yeah, so the fact that you, Will Levis, are able to step in and throw for 4 touchdowns when Jared Goff threw for 1, you got to play this guy and see what he can do.
Yes, 100%.
He, to me, looked like the total polar opposite of what we've seen Jordan Love be so far. Like, Will Levis seemed to know when to take risks downfield, when to play it safe, know who the ball should be going to.
So you were really, really impressed.
But I thought he was awesome. Yeah, I thought he was very, very good.
So
I don't like to jump the gun right away on a rookie who plays 1 game.
But again, it's a week-to-week show.
But rather this than come out and look horrible. I mean, he looked great.
Well, look, here's what I wrote down. I'm pretty confident at the end of the year, and now here's where we get into all the speculative
We're
stuff.
Titans podcast too.
We like the Titans.
They commented on our TikTok video.
That's why we're drinking coffee.
We are
tonight.
a Titans spot.
We like the Titans. The Dolphins, Chiefs, Jags, and Bengals. I said, let's just pretend they win their divisions right now. The Ravens and the Bills I have as wild card teams. Now with the 7 seed, you have teams like the Chargers. You have the Steelers in that mix. You probably have the Browns somewhere in there too. I think that 7 seed for Tennessee, this is a huge if. But if Will Levis plays anything like he did this past weekend, yeah, like you could make a little run. I don't think they're going to catch Jacksonville, but you can make a little run at a playoff spot here. And I do think that it's okay to say there is new hype and rejuvenation to this Titans roster.
Yeah, could you not? I'd be through the roof.
Yeah, it's what we want to see from Jaron Hall, Vikings fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now that's a lot to ask for, but.
Well, yeah, but I mean, look, last year was bad, but otherwise they'd won like 6 or 7 straight against the Jags and like 11 out of the past 12. Like, the Titans own the Jaguars. They absolutely have an opportunity to take this division.
They have a very good team, Tennessee. Maybe not very, very good team, but like last year they were a game away from being in the playoffs. They started 7-3. There's talent on the roster.
There's no reason not to believe if Will Levis can play at a level somewhat similar. I'm not saying quite as good because I thought he was very good, but somewhat similar to what he showed against Atlanta. There's no reason to believe that they can't play as a 7 seed in the AFC.
They have the tiebreaker over Cleveland and Chargers.
There's a big game Thursday in Pittsburgh too.
So those 3 teams I just said, I wasn't even thinking about this when I said it. The Browns, the Chargers, and if they beat you guys on Thursday, they would have the tiebreaker over all 3 of those main competitive teams for the 7 seed.
Yeah. They won't beat us.
And they better go to Pittsburgh and win.
Wow.
It's that simple. Will Levis, just a few games after his first NFL start, is going to have a huge opportunity. If he wins this, the hype's off the charts.
If Will Levis goes to Pittsburgh at night against TJ Watt and wins, it's for real.
I'll believe.
And one last thing here before we close. You mentioned, Ziggy, should Desmond Ridder suit up next week for the Falcons? Or are you rolling Taylor Heinicke?
There's something weird happened at Atlanta. I don't know how closely folks were following this, but Desmond Ridder got pulled mid-game for a concussion check. When he was asked what play he thought it happened on, he said he had no idea and didn't take anything to the head. Then he was cleared to come back and play, and the Falcons still didn't let him come back. Meanwhile, Taylor Heinicke steps in and immediately the offense looks totally different. There's a passing game. It's explosive. He gets a passing touchdown. I get that one passing touchdown doesn't sound like a whole lot, but if you've seen the Falcons this year, getting a passing touchdown when you're only playing half a football game really means something. I personally feel like maybe I'm giving up on these guys too quickly, but I feel like we have seen enough from Desmond Ridder. There's a lot of turnovers. He can't show up when it matters. Meanwhile, Heinicke, you're at least getting something out of the guy. And with all the stuff that's around them, you need a quarterback who can produce something. So I'm not playing Desmond Ridder again. And I bet, even though Arthur Smith is hedging, he doesn't want to either because his job is on the line.
I agree with you. I would roll to Heinicke out there because he adds another element to their game. Desmond Ridder has had ups and downs this year. The Houston game, he looked really good. And then he follows it up and, has a bunch of turnovers in the next game. It's like, I want to root for him, but when you saw what Heinicke did and how he added another dimension for a Falcons team that is actually competing for a playoff spot, even though they don't look like a playoff team all the time, their division is so bad that it's very realistic for them to win the NFC South and host, not just go to the playoffs, host a playoff game. And if you're hosting a playoff game, you can make some noise. All you have to do is, a couple games, ball bounces your way. You could end up in the divisional round NFC Championship, and, it happens sometimes. So if Taylor Heinicke gives you the best chance to do that, I know you're hoping Ridder could be the future, but it's hard for me not to roll out the guy that is the best suited to win these games. And who knows, maybe if Van Jefferson catches that ball at the end of the game, they go down and win it at the end. But I thought Atlanta looked a lot different with Heinicke in the offense. We'll see what they ultimately decide to do.
And Heinicke has a decent track record.
I love Heinicke.
He's shown pretty good success in the past. I don't think there's much of a question here at all who you roll out next week if you're Atlanta. I mean, if Heinicke comes out and he looks good again and wins the game, he's your guy. If he looks bad next week, then we can bring the question again. I think this is pretty obvious, though.
This is the thing, though, right? Like the door once this door is open, it will never close. Like I said last week, there are no two words that destroy a locker room faster than quarterback controversy. And if you're this Falcons team, you are ready to win, right? This is sort of supposed to be their year. I think it is telling that not your year to win the Super Bowl, but your year to finally start putting something together.
Yes.
Right. They've sucked for a while. This was sort of the year you're going to leave that post Matt Ryan Hayes, win the easy division, if not get that NFC 7 spot, which no team in the NFC deserves.
It's very it would have been the Vikings, but
I just mean the fact that Arthur Smith will not commit to a starting quarterback means things could go bad quickly in Atlanta. You got to find who the better player is, play him, and win some freaking games already.
What if Heinicke does come out next week against Minnesota and just looks horrendous?
Then it's a question again. Yeah. Then you probably if he looks horrendous, you're going to see Ridder the next week.
But I think that it's a no-brainer for this.
They're lucky though that Cousins went down because the Vikings were going to go and beat up on Atlanta with Kirk. I have no doubt.
We still might beat up on.
I would agree with you.
Yeah. The Falcons being 3.5 point favorites, I think, is silly.
I think there's a clear drop off when Kirk was healthy. I thought from the top 6 teams being the Niners, Cowboys, Eagles, Lions, Vikings, and Seahawks, I thought there was a big drop off to the next batch of teams that are playoff football teams. I don't think anyone else was really a playoff team in the NFC, even though you have to have one.
Yeah, look at the teams that are competing for that 7 seed, right? It's like the Vikings, let's count them out, right?
Yeah.
You have the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Rams, and the Commanders.
Yeah, so it's very open for Atlanta. That's why you got to roll out the best guy. We'll see what happens. I only didn't include the Falcons because they're technically first in the division right now. Yeah. We'll wrap up. Are you good?
Yeah. I'm just so hot on anytime touchdowns. It's crazy.
Oh, did you hit again?
Yeah, we hit again.
Wait. Jameson Williams.
No, Jacobs. No, I love Jacobs. When I said if you wanted to sprinkle a Jameson Williams tonight, I wouldn't be.
This guy's
Jameson Williams might be out of the NFL next year. Do not sprinkle anything on this man.
Well, he might be sprinkled.
Vegas is winning. Vegas is up.
No, first of all, the Lions have been in the red zone 3 times. Have had a field goal all 3 times.
You have the field goal kicker against me.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Jack had the biggest bullshit win in fantasy over
Welcome
me.
to Trap, take over your trap.
It was horrible. Ziggy, I was down like, was I down like 6
Yeah.
points? And I had Travis Kelce versus Gus freaking Edwards. And Gus Edwards has the bailout game of the century.
Boss.
For
Welcome
team
your trap,
Jay
take over
Weinberger.
your trap. Yeah.
So the Lions would just move the ball downfield. And that's such a...
Yeah.
That's like your first win over me in like 6 years.
I mean, I'm a
It is now
train.
9-7. So
What?
it's 9-7.
That is unbelievable bullshit.
All right, let's get on to the 1 seed.
Okay, let's finish this here. The final part of our show, we're going to make the case to Zach here for the best team in the AFC. You look up and down the AFC right now, a lot of 6-2 teams. I believe every division leader at the moment, the Jaguars, the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Dolphins are all 6-2 at the moment. Could be someone else though. The Bills are there, the
You
Bengals
better
are
give
there.
me a good one because Ziggy's on the big screen right now.
Oh, Ziggy's on the big screen?
Ziggy's got the big screen.
Okay, so we're all going to make the case for the best AFC team right now. Ziggy, if you're on the big screen, you can go first.
Yeah, look, I'm going to take the team with the best overall unit in the entire AFC, and that has to be the Miami Dolphins with the Miami Dolphins offense. Now, look, the defense is improving. I get that Jalen Ramsey promised a pick 6 and he couldn't get it done, but he got pretty close with his pick field goal, even though Mike McDaniel kind of complained. But look, the defense is getting better. We know this offense is the best in the NFL, and it's not even close. The offense is putting these performances up without being able to get everyone healthy. You give the defense a little bit more time to adapt to the Fangio system. You let the offense keep flying, and this is a team, maybe the only team in the AFC that can keep up and blow past all the contenders. So for me, it's pretty easy. Give me the Miami Dolphins. Fins up.
Fins up. Hey, we are a Dolphins
real
pod
quick,
to
Paul.
some degree.
Are you now a Dolphins fan now that Kirk Cousins hurt?
I mean, we're 4-4, so I'm still, well, first off, I'm always,
Well, yeah, you're always a big
like
fan.
I'm always, like, it's not like,
yeah.
I don't do the second fandom things or anything like that, but I always pull for the Dolphins because of you and my uncle. So, yes, I would say once the Vikings are eliminated, I will be pulling for Miami.
I also
this season.
love South Florida. It's
Yeah,
always
just
sunny
nice.
there.
I
It's
like
just the
to.
best-
I like to. I
it's the
like
best
Mike
place in the world.
McDaniel. They're an easy team to root for.
Yeah, turn on the Dolphins game. No one's
fun.
there, but like it's sunny, it's bright. it's
Everybody's there. It's sold out nowadays.
Everyone's on the
Ah.
beach. And
Yeah, no one's there, but it's sunny, it's bright. I wouldn't be there either. Can you blame them?
all right? You want to go, Jack?
Yeah, I'll go. Ziggy, you're a beautiful fool. You know that? You're a beautiful, beautiful fool. Because you're picking the team who can't beat other good teams in the Miami Dolphins. Again, love the Dolphins. But next week, they play the Kansas City Chiefs, who are off a loss. Think Chiefs are losing 2 games in a row? Hell no.
Yes.
So that's a 2-game lead over the Dolphins right there. I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm taking the best player in the world, the team who's the 1 seed every single year. I will pick the Chiefs until somebody else can dethrone them. I'm not panicking over 1 loss to Denver. Bad loss, for sure. I get it. Terrible loss. You get over it. Great coach. Good team. I will pick the team who's been the number 1 seed every year with the best quarterback I've ever seen. And I will not pick against them until somebody shows me that they don't belong at the top. So I'll be taking Kansas City. How can you not?
Okay, that's fair. It's never a bad thing to take Patrick Mahomes, but
Someone else show me they can be the 1 seed, and I'll consider it.
well, there's one man who's been able to take down Patrick Mahomes, and that's Joe Burrow. And I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals.
So you have the Chiefs losing 3 more games? No way.
No, I'm saying the most dangerous team in the AFC. I'm sorry, not necessarily the one, just the most dangerous. Team. I think you'd still stand by the
I'd
Chiefs.
probably still
being
stand
most
Chiefs, yeah.
But I'm saying Cincinnati Bengals right now, 3 wins in a row. We talked about it at the top of the show. Joe Burrow is healthy now. And this offense is rolling. Jamar Chase has had almost 400 yards the past 3 games. T. Higgins looks involved again. Joe Mixon involved. The defense, players are stepping up. Lou Anarumo has a great defense. He's one of the best defensive minds in football. If there's one person in the NFL, or I would say 2 people in the NFL you are scared of coming into your building in a playoff game, it would be Patrick Mahomes, who's never done it before, but it would also be Joe Burrow. He's the one guy that we've seen be able to go into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. And with the way they're playing right now, when they get the ball rolling, I don't bet against them, even against Mahomes at times. So I like Cincinnati at this point in time. Zach, you have now heard 3 very persuasive. I mean, you're talking about 3 of the great football minds of a generation right here presenting arguments.
Probably the 3 greatest.
It's like
Who I take personally? I'm taking Ziggy all day. Personally,
it's because I made the best arguments, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I think I do have to go with Mr. Paul Farrington of the Paul Farrington Show on this one.
I think that's the first time I've ever gotten chosen for
I think it is. Yeah,
you guys are like 3 and 4 wins each, and this is the first one.
The Bengals not a bad argument. That's a decent pick.
I don't know. The Bengals are certainly looking good.
Like they're certain.
I'd like to see a little bit more.
They're just doing that thing again, right? They're doing the same thing they did last year.
They just come on.
They suck in the beginning. Everybody's like, oh, they suck, and then all of a sudden they're just blowing out teams.
I actually think a fair comparison could be your performance on the show today, Zach. The first good majority of the opening of the show, Zach's dying in the corner. And all of a sudden now, he just turns on the charm, and it's like, wait a second, this guy is unbelievable. Why is he not on the mic more often?
Yeah. He should be.
So I think that you're sort of pulling a Cincinnati Bengals.
This game upcoming for the Bengals against Buffalo at home at night, huge.
So we have Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Kansas City, Miami this week.
Yep.
Well, Kansas City, Miami this week? Is in Germany this week.
No, it's in Germany, but like there's no bye weeks or anything when we look at the schedule. It's, dude, I mean that is
in Frankfurt, Germany. I don't even know where Frankfurt is.
Germany.
Oh,
somewhere,
thank you.
Somewhere in Germany.
That's wow. I mean, those are two.
Ziggy, got anywhere for us?
I'm pretty sure. So like Frankfurt is like it's central Germany, but it's to the like southwestern side of the center a little
see
bit.
This guy?
No. So like yeah,
you don't have a visual mind.
I've got to map out where it is.
Okay. So Ziggy has said that he does not have a visual mind. Which makes me question how you see a map in your head.
Oh, I don't see a map. I just know its relations to the other places. But like, yeah, I mean, if Andrew Fullwider, he still lives in Germany, is watching this, he'll know. I'm surprised they're having the game in Frankfurt, honestly, because Frankfurt is not exactly the best part of Germany.
Isn't Frankfurt the capital of Kentucky also? I think it is.
Yeah. I saw the Dolphins players got a warning not to go out alone in Frankfurt. Wow, like they might get mugged.
I mean, I would probably take the Dolphins players over anybody trying to mess with them.
I don't know, man. Germans are
unless they got weapons.
I actually thought from other than a while ago, I think the Germans for the most part nice people. People say it's the French who are the French are the ones that you don't.
If they're you know what I imagine they're doing. I bet they're going to see the Goethe House. That's probably where they're going.
I mean, this is not the crowd to be bringing up random places in Germany.
Do you know who Goethe is, right?
You know Goethe. Come on.
Who knows?
Goethe.
I've heard of the
most famous German writer in history.
I mean, yes, I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, his adaptation of Faust is way better than that hack Marlowe. Come on, everyone knows.
Home.
Yeah, we're sorry. I will say one thing, and you brought up our friend Andrew Fullwider, who I don't think he listens anymore, but Fullwider came on when we were younger, at the very start of the show, first year we ever did it, 6 years ago, and he brought up all he wanted to talk about was the World Cup, and his topic selection was the Egyptian national team, led by Mo Salah. And it's the only time we've ever talked Egyptian soccer on the show. Questionable topic selection at best from Andrew, but it was one of our favorite shows we've ever done before. It's one of my favorite episodes we've recorded.
You branched out and you found success.
Yeah, we branched out. So that's a great day. A lot of call-ins. All right, we will wrap up today's show with Andrew Full. You never know what you're going to get. We opened the show with the Kirk Cousins obituary, and now we end with Mo Salah and Egyptian soccer.
Teacher?
Oh, it's our friend. I mean, I am looking here at the coffee. Guys, you do not put mayo in. Look at that.
All right.
That's
disgusting.
All right, we'll just
here's what I'll say real quick. No, I'll say it real quick because we're never going to talk about this again. Very briefly.
No, if we beat the Steelers, we'll talk about it again.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll hold the story. I unfortunately.
Fine, just tell it.
No, it's fine. I unfortunately bullied one of our high school teachers with mayonnaise.
That can be our cliff.
It wasn't intentional. Like, I'll just say it so we could get it over with here. We had a professor or a teacher who did not like white substances like mayo or cream cheese or butter.
Wait, what do you mean he didn't like white substances?
He
yeah, who doesn't, right?
I believe as a kid, he just had cream cheese sandwiches every day of his life. And then he said one day his classmates were like, "What the hell is that?" He said, "Cream cheese sandwich." And they're like, "That's not a normal thing to eat." And he became repulsed by the white spreads, basically. And okay, I kind of get that. I would be scarred too
You're
if I
just
were eating
scarred.
a lot.
It's
Yeah, just
scarring
scarred from it.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand the extent to that fear. So at the end of I believe like 10th or 11th grade, one of our classmates brought in a thing of cream cheese and was going to leave it on the desk, like just to mess around. Again, we thought he just didn't like it. My friend got too nervous to put it on the desk. I was like, oh, what the hell are we talking about? Like, yeah, just put it on the desk. So I put it on the desk. We all leave the room. We all like run out of the room. You know, we're like 15, giggling. The next year at lunch, the teacher comes up to me and he's just like, Paul, he's like, yeah, that prank last year. He's like, that was jarring. I had to have another professor come into the room and remove the cream cheese from my desk. I was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. I did not realize it went that deep. I thought that we was just like, oh, here's some cream cheese. Like, yeah, we know you hate this stuff, but all right. No, it was actually a real, like, I don't want to say fear, but there's a strong disliking from this teacher to the white substances. So yeah, he would be miserable.
He's got PTSD.
PTSD. He would be miserable here. Looking at this is disgusting. I don't know how Will Levis does that. So with that, we will wrap up and we will see you for the week 9 prediction show. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you can't get enough of this content, hit that subscribe button and you'll hear more stories about teachers disliking cream cheese and mayonnaise, whipped cream, and
other white substances.
We could go further, but we will not. We'll see you for the week 9 show.